Alex had always been curious about the stars, about what lay beyond Earth's familiar sky. That curiosity had brought him to Zithera, a planet far from the human colonies. Zithera was a place of strange beauty, covered with forests that glowed in soft blues and greens, rivers that shimmered like liquid light, and mountains that floated above the clouds. For a xenobiologist like Alex, it was a paradise, an untouched world filled with mysteries waiting to be studied. He walked carefully along a narrow path in the forest, scanning the trees and undergrowth with his equipment. Every leaf seemed to pulse with energy, and tiny creatures darted through the branches, leaving trails of light in their wake. His translator device buzzed occasionally, picking up faint alien sounds he could barely understand. Alex crouched near a cluster of luminescent flowers. He was taking samples when he noticed movement from the corner of his eye. At first he thought it was one of the glowing creatures, but then he saw her. She appeared from behind a tree, stepping gracefully as if the forest itself parted for her. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her hair floated gently as if weightless. Her eyes were large and intelligent, glowing faintly with colors Alex had no names for. She was humanoid, but not human. Every feature of hers seemed alive, vibrant, and entirely foreign. Alex froze. He had studied alien species from afar before, but he had never encountered one so personal, so aware. He raised his hand slightly, trying to show he meant no harm. The alien female tilted her head, her eyes studying him. She made a soft clicking sound. Alex hesitated, then remembered something from his cultural research. He smiled gently. You're beautiful, he said, unsure if the word even made sense to her. I mean, cute. In a human way, the alien blinked. For a moment, Alex thought he had offended her. Her colors shifted rapidly, blues, greens, flashes of red. Then, suddenly, she laughed. It was a sound unlike anything Alex had ever heard. Musical, full of warmth, yet sharp and alert. Without warning, she removed the flowing cloak she had been wearing. It slid to the ground like liquid silk. She was fully exposed, but her posture was not threatening. Instead, she looked directly at him, eyes steady, almost curious. Then she said a word Alex's translator struggled to render. Mate. Alex's stomach tightened. He stumbled backwards slightly, tripping over a root. His mind raced. He had studied alien cultures for years, but he had never expected anything like this. Was this a challenge? A threat or something? Else entirely. Lyra, he decided to call her that, stepped closer but not aggressively. Her movements were smooth, calm, deliberate. Mate, she repeated, her voice soft, echoing slightly in the forest. Alex realized that the word in her culture was not meant in a romantic or offensive way. It was a statement of trust, a sign of partnership. He blinked, trying to understand. I'm Alex, he said carefully. I'm human. I didn't mean anything wrong. I was just complimenting you. Lyra tilted her head again. Her skin shimmered, now a soft, warm green. Alex could feel a strange energy in the air, a connection forming between them. It was subtle at first, like a whisper in his mind, a gentle echo of thought and feeling. Alex slowly realized what was happening. Lyra's species didn't just communicate through words. They shared emotions and intentions directly, a kind of psychic link that humans rarely experienced. By calling him mate and exposing herself, she was offering trust in its purest form. His heart raced. He had always been a scientist, trained to observe, analyze, and record. But now he was experiencing something that no amount of data could explain. He needed to respond carefully. Okay, he said finally, trying to keep his voice steady. I understand. I respect your trust, and I want to learn. About you, about your world. Lyra's colors shifted again, soft blues and gentle violets. She seemed pleased. Alex took a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves. Slowly he reached for his recorder, careful not to move too quickly. I'm going to record this, he said. Not to share, but to understand. Is that okay? Lyra nodded, her eyes glowing softly. The psychic bond between them grew stronger, and Alex could almost sense her thoughts. She was curious, cautious, and willing to teach him. For the next hour, they stood in the forest, observing each other. Alex asked questions, careful to keep them simple. Your skin, it changes color? Yes, Lyra replied, her voice musical. It shows what I feel. It is honesty. Humans, do you hide feelings? Alex nodded. Sometimes. We don't always show what we feel. But I try to be honest. She studied him for a long moment, then made a clicking sound which his translator interpreted as a soft laugh. Alex smiled, feeling a strange mix of relief and excitement. Then she motioned for him to follow. Hesitant but curious, he did. She led him through a part of the forest he hadn't seen before. The trees were taller here, their trunks twisting like ribbons of crystal. Strange flowers hung in midair and tiny orbs of light floated gently around them. "This is safe," she said. "Few come here." Only those trusted. Alex was amazed. He had seen beautiful places on other planets, but this was something different. Alive, breathing, glowing, and now walking beside him was someone who trusted him completely. They stopped at a small clearing where the ground glowed faintly underfoot. Lyra sat down on the soft moss, patting the spot beside her. Alex hesitated, then sat down. "You are different," Lyra said. "Humans. You are fragile, yet strong. You do not give up easily. That is interesting." Alex chuckled softly. "I guess we're good at surviving." "And curious?" "Always curious." Lyra's eyes brightened. "Curiosity, yes. That is why I did not fear you. You are honest. You are not greedy. You are mate material." Alex blinked, taken aback. The words felt strange, almost heavy with meaning. He realized that mate was more than a casual title. It was a declaration of trust, of bond, of something permanent in her culture. For a long while, they just sat in the clearing, observing the forest and each other. Alex made notes in his recorder, careful to capture the details without breaking the trust Lyra had given him. He learned about her species' colors, their emotions, and their ways of communication. She taught him without words sometimes, letting him sense feelings directly, giving him glimpses of her world in ways human language could not convey. By the time the twin moons of Zithera rose high in the sky, Alex felt a strange calm. He had come to this planet seeking knowledge of alien life, and he had found it, but in a way he never imagined. He had found a bond, a connection, and a partner in exploration. Lyra finally stood, brushing moss from her skin. "Tomorrow," she said, "you will learn more. You will see the ways of my people. You will understand why mate is important." Alex nodded, still trying to process everything. I look forward to it," he said. He realized he was not just here to study Zithera. He was here to learn from it, from its people, and from Lyra. As he set up camp for the night, Alex stared at the glowing forest around him. He knew that this was only the beginning. Something extraordinary had begun. Something that could change everything he thought he knew about life, trust and connection in the universe. He had complimented her, and in return, she had trusted him completely. And now, for the first time in his life, Alex understood that trust could be more powerful than any technology, more precious than any discovery. In the quiet of Zithera's glowing forest under the light of twin moons, a human and an alien were bound by curiosity, honesty, and an unspoken promise, a promise of adventure, understanding, and a friendship that could span the stars. The next morning, Alex woke to the soft glow of Zithera's twin suns filtering through the trees. The forest around his small camp shimmered with dew that looked like tiny stars scattered on every leaf. He stretched and checked his equipment, but his mind was already thinking about Lyra. He had never met a being like her before. Her honesty, her openness, her trust, it was overwhelming. Humans were cautious by nature, but Lyra's species seemed to value honesty and bravery above all else. He realized that this was an opportunity not only to study a new world, but also to understand a species so different from humans. Lyra appeared quietly, stepping into the soft morning light. Her skin shimmered a gentle gold and her eyes glowed with warmth. "Alex," she said softly, "it is time to learn." He nodded, packing up his things. "I'm ready," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. He was still nervous about their bond, still unsure exactly what it meant. But he knew that whatever came next, he had to approach it with respect. She led him deeper into the forest, where the trees grew taller and their branches intertwined to form natural bridges high above the glowing ground. Alex followed carefully, using his translator and equipment to record everything, but he also kept his senses alert. Every step seemed alive. The forest itself hummed with energy. "This way," Lyra said, pointing toward a clearing. As they approached, Alex saw why she had called it safe. The clearing was surrounded by enormous crystalline trees, their branches twisting like spirals into the sky. Between them floated orbs of light, moving gently as if guided by invisible currents. The air smelled sweet, almost like a mixture of flowers and minerals. Alex took a deep breath, amazed. This is incredible, he said. I've never seen anything like it. Lyra smiled, or at least he thought it was a smile. Her expression shifted subtly, colors flickering softly across her skin. Zithra is beautiful, but only if you respect it. Humans, you respect life? I try, Alex replied honestly. That's why I'm here, to learn, to understand. Lyra studied him, her glowing eyes never leaving his face. Then she made a soft clicking sound, which his translator interpreted as laughter. Good, you may follow me now. You will see more. They walked for what felt like hours, winding through the glowing forest. Alex was constantly recording, taking notes, and observing. He marveled at the way Zithra seemed alive in ways Earth never had been. The leaves emitted faint light, the rivers sparkled like liquid crystal, and strange creatures flitted between the trees, leaving trails of soft colors. Eventually, they reached a river. But this was no ordinary river. Its waters glowed a deep blue, and tiny floating crystals moved along its surface, forming patterns that seemed almost intentional. Lyra knelt beside the river, her fingers touching the water. Alex noticed that the glow of the river changed slightly as she did, shifting in response to her presence. This river, she said, is alive. It feels thoughts. It knows intentions, humans. You will learn, but your mind must be clear. Alex nodded, kneeling beside her. He placed his hand in the water cautiously. A tingling sensation ran up his arm, not painful, but strange and vivid. He felt something stir inside him, a connection to the world around him. For the first time, he understood that Zithra was not just a place to study. It was a place to experience, to feel. Lyra watched him, her colors shifting to soft greens and blues. Yes, you feel it, good. You are learning quickly. Alex smiled, feeling a sense of pride. It's incredible. I've never felt anything like this on Earth. It's like the planet itself is alive, thinking, aware. Lyra nodded. Yes, and now you begin to understand the bond. The bond of mate is not just between us. It is with the world, with life itself. You must feel it, not just know it. They spent hours by the river learning how to sense the energy of Zithra. Lyra taught him how to focus his mind, to let the feelings of the planet flow through him. At first it was overwhelming. Thoughts, emotions, and sensations flooded him, but gradually he learned to separate them, to observe without fear. By the time the suns began to set, the forest glowed with a soft, golden light. Alex felt exhausted but exhilarated. He had never learned so much in a single day, and he had never felt such trust, such a connection with another being. Lyra led him to a small elevated platform built of living crystal. Rest here, she said. Tomorrow we continue. You will meet others of my kind. You will see how mate works in our society. Alex nodded, lying down on the smooth, warm surface. He looked up at the sky, watching the twin moons rise. His mind wandered to the word she had called him. Mate. It felt strange, almost heavy with meaning, but he knew it was not just a title. It was trust, partnership, and something deeper than friendship. He thought about the journey ahead. Meeting others, learning more about Zithra, understanding Lyra's world. It was daunting. But for the first time, he didn't feel alone. He had a partner, someone who trusted him completely. As he drifted into a light sleep, he felt her presence near him, a soft warmth and calm that settled his mind. He realized that the bond was already affecting him, making him feel connected not only to her but to the world around him. He slept under the glowing sky, dreaming of colors, rivers, and forests alive with energy. The next morning, Alex awoke to Lyra shaking his shoulder gently. Time to meet others, she said, her skin glowing a soft orange. Do not fear. They will see you as mate sees you. They will trust you if you're honest. Alex nodded, nervous but excited. I will do my best, he said. Lyra led him to a clearing where a small group of her kind was gathered. They were humanoid like her, with glowing skin in various shades and eyes that seemed to shine with intelligence. They looked at Alex curiously but without hostility. This is Alex, Lyra said. He is mate. He comes in trust. Respect him. The group studied him, then one of them stepped forward. Mate from Lyra? The voice was musical yet firm. Lyra nodded. Yes, he is human. He is honest. He is safe. Alex bowed slightly, trying to show respect. I come in peace, he said. I wish to learn, to understand, to help if I can. The alien who had spoken nodded slowly. We see your intentions. We welcome you. Alex felt a wave of relief. He had expected skepticism or fear, but instead he found acceptance. His bond with Lyra seemed to carry weight even among her people. He realized that human traits, honesty, courage, empathy, could earn respect even in the most alien of worlds. Lyra smiled at him, her colors shifting to bright green. Good. You are learning quickly. Now you will see how mate works in our society. Observe, feel, and understand. The aliens led him through their village, a series of structures grown from living crystal and glowing plants. Everything seemed alive, resonating with energy. Alex took notes and recorded carefully, but he also observed how his bond with Lyra gave him insights. He could sense subtle cues in their behavior, small emotional signals that would have been invisible to a normal human observer. As the day ended, Alex realized something important. This world, this society, and Lyra herself had shown him that humanity's greatest strengths were not technology or weapons, but courage, honesty, and trust. These traits could bridge worlds, build bonds, and survive even in the strangest places. As night fell and Zithra's glowing forests settled into calm, Alex and Lyra sat together again. He felt a deep sense of peace. The bond was growing stronger, connecting them not just emotionally but mentally, giving them understanding without words. You are learning well, Alex, Lyra said softly. Soon you will see why mate is more than a word. It is connection, trust, and partnership. With it, we can face anything. Alex smiled, looking at her. I understand, and I want to learn everything. About you, your people, your world. Lyra's eyes glowed brightly, a sign of approval. Good. Then tomorrow begins the next step. You will see our traditions, our knowledge, and how mate is honored. But remember, trust is the key. Always honesty, always respect, Alex nodded. I promise. That night, as he drifted to sleep, he realized something profound. He had come to Zithra to study alien life, but he had found something far greater. A bond built on trust, honesty, and courage. A bond that could survive anything the universe threw at him, and he knew without a doubt that this was only the beginning. The morning sun of Zithra cast a warm glow across the crystalline forest, but there was a tension in the air that Alex could feel even before he saw the signs. Lyra had sensed it first. Her skin shifted rapidly, colors flashing from soft greens to anxious reds. She paused on the path, turning to him with wide, alert eyes. Alex, she said, her voice sharp with concern. There are others coming. They do not come in peace, Alex frowned. Others? Who? Hunters. They want knowledge, not friendship. They will take what they want, and they do not care about trust. Alex's heart tightened. He had expected challenges in this alien world, but he had not imagined danger so soon. He looked around the glowing forest. Even though Zithra's beauty was mesmerizing, the shadows between the crystalline trees now seemed threatening, alive with hidden movement. We need a plan, Alex said, trying to stay calm. Do you know how many there are? Lyra shook her head. Not many, but enough to be dangerous. We must be clever or they will catch us. Alex took a deep breath. His training as a xenobiologist had taught him to observe and adapt quickly, and his human ingenuity had often turned impossible situations into survival. Okay, he said. Then let's use what we know about this forest. We can set traps, confuse them, make the terrain work for us. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. Yes, you are thinking well, mate. They moved carefully, scouting ahead and analyzing the forest. Alex noticed that Zithra's natural energy could be manipulated with small devices he carried. Reflective sensors, light disruptors, and simple sound emitters. With Lyra's guidance, they positioned the devices among the glowing trees and rivers, creating illusions of movement and false trails. Hours passed as they worked, the sun climbing higher in the sky. Every step required caution. Alex had to trust his instincts and Lyra's senses. The bond between them had grown so strong that he could almost feel her thoughts, her anxiety and her confidence as if they were his own. Finally, a distant sound reached them, a low hum, unnatural among the forest's usual melodies. Alex crouched beside a tree, signaling Lyra to do the same. Through the branches he could see movement. Shadowy figures advancing, their forms blurred by Zithra's glowing light. "They are close," Lyra whispered. "Prepare." Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. He had faced dangerous animals and harsh environments on Earth, but this was different. These were intelligent beings, capable of strategy and aggression. But he had something they did not: adaptability, creativity, and a bond with someone who understood the forest like no outsider ever could. As the hunters entered the clearing, the traps Alex and Lyra had set sprang into action. Reflective prisms scattered the sunlight in dazzling patterns, temporarily blinding and disorienting them. Sound emitters created the illusion of movement in multiple directions, confusing the intruders. Lyra moved beside him, her body glowing softly, blending into the forest. She used her psychic abilities to anticipate the hunters' movements, subtly guiding Alex's actions. Together they were an unstoppable team, combining human strategy and alien intuition. Alex smiled, feeling exhilarated. "We're doing it," he whispered. "We're keeping them off balance, but the hunters were clever. They adapted quickly, moving around the illusions and advancing with cautious precision." Alex realized that a direct confrontation might be unavoidable. He turned to Lyra. "We may have to fight," he said quietly. "Are you ready?" Lyra's color shifted to bright gold, a sign of determination. "I am always ready, mate." The battle began. Alex used his traps and devices to slow the hunters, while Lyra used her speed and agility to stay ahead of them, striking when necessary and retreating before they could respond. Her glowing skin flared with bright patterns that Alex soon realized were signals, warnings, distractions, and coordination with him. Alex marveled at her abilities. She was not only strong and fast, but incredibly intelligent in battle, reading the hunter's tactics and reacting in moments he could hardly comprehend. And he in turn adapted, using the forest itself, fallen branches, glowing rivers, and floating crystal formations, to create obstacles and escape routes. Hours passed in a tense dance of strategy and survival. The hunters grew frustrated, their movements more reckless. Alex noticed that Zithra itself seemed to respond to the bond between him and Lyra. The rivers shimmered brighter, the trees swayed with purpose, and even the air seemed to hum in their favor. Finally, after a narrow chase through a maze of glowing cliffs and crystal groves, the hunters faltered. One misstep, and they fell into a trap Alex had set earlier, a simple pit camouflaged with glowing moss. Another was caught in the reflective prism maze, unable to see or advance. The remaining few realized that they could not win and retreated, leaving the humans and aliens in silence. Alex sank to his knees, breathing heavily. "We did it," he said, incredulous. "We actually did it." Lyra came to him, placing a hand on his shoulder. Her skin glowed softly, calming and steady. "Yes, we did it. Mate, you were brave. You used your mind, your skills. You are remarkable." Alex smiled, feeling warmth and pride. "I could not have done it without you. Your guidance, your bond, it made all the difference." Lyra's eyes shone. "That is the power of mate. Not just trust, but partnership. Together we are stronger than alone. Today you proved this." They rested briefly in the forest clearing, letting the adrenaline fade and the calm of Zithra return. Alex used the moment to take notes, documenting the encounter carefully. But he also reflected on something deeper, the realization that human courage, creativity, and honesty could not only survive in an alien world, but could earn respect and trust even from species far beyond Earth. Lyra watched him, her expression unreadable, then smiled in her own subtle way. "Tomorrow you will meet the council. They will see what mate means, what our bond represents." "You are ready, Alex." Alex nodded. "I hope so. I want to understand fully. I want to help." Lyra's colors shimmered softly, a sign of approval. "Then you will learn. But remember, Alex, the universe is vast. Trust and courage are powerful, but careful thought is just as important. You are learning, yes, but every step forward brings new challenges." As they walked back to their small camp, the forest glowing softly in the twilight, Alex felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. He had faced danger, used his human skills to survive, and deepened his bond with Lyra. More than that, he had discovered something fundamental. Humans were capable of bravery, adaptability, and ingenuity that could make them respected, even in worlds far beyond their own. By the time they reached their resting place, Zithra's twin moons hung high in the sky, casting soft blue light across the glowing trees. Alex sat quietly, reflecting on the events of the day. He had survived, yes, but he had also learned, connected, and grown in ways he could never have imagined before meeting Lyra. Lyra joined him, sitting close. Her presence was comforting, and he could feel the bond between them more strongly than ever. He realized that this partnership was not just about survival. It was about trust, understanding, and friendship that transcended species and worlds. "You did well today, Alex," Lyra said softly. "Not just in fighting, but in understanding. You are learning what mate truly means." Alex smiled, feeling the warmth of her words and the bond they shared. "I couldn't have done it without you, and I feel like I'm starting to understand. Trust, courage, partnership, all of it." Lyra nodded, her skin shifting to a gentle green. "Good, that is enough for now. Tomorrow, new lessons await. You will meet others, see our ways, and continue to grow. But tonight, rest. The bond is strong. You are safe." Alex leaned back, letting the soft glow of the forest and the calm presence of Lyra wash over him. For the first time, he felt that he truly belonged somewhere beyond Earth, not just as a visitor, but as a partner, a mate, and a human who had earned respect through honesty, courage, and ingenuity. And as Zithra's moons cast their light across the forest, Alex closed his eyes, ready for the adventures and lessons that awaited in the days to come. The morning air on Zithra was crisp and calm, a sharp contrast to the tension of the previous day. The forest glowed softly in the twin sunlight, and Alex could hear the quiet hum of life around him, birds-like creatures flitting through the glowing trees, rivers sparkling with flowing light, and leaves shimmering like tiny stars. He felt a sense of peace he had rarely experienced on Earth. Lyra appeared, her skin a gentle lavender glow, calm and warm. She looked at Alex with quiet expectation. "Today you will meet the council," she said. "They will judge not only your actions but your bond with me. Be honest, be yourself. That is all that matters." Alex nodded. The events of the past days had been overwhelming. First meeting Lyra, then experiencing her world, and finally surviving the threat from the hunters. Each step had tested him, but he had learned, adapted, and grown. And now meeting the council would be another challenge, one that would show if humans could earn respect even among beings so far beyond Earth. They walked together through the forest, Alex feeling the bond between them stronger than ever. The psychic connection Lyra had established, the bond of mate, allowed him to sense her thoughts, feelings, and intentions. It was subtle, but it gave him an advantage, a sense of guidance and confidence he had never known before. Soon, they arrived at a large clearing where crystalline towers rose high, reflecting light in all directions. The council awaited them, beings like Lyra, humanoid yet with glowing skin and eyes that seemed to see into one's very soul. They observed Alex carefully, and he could feel their curiosity, suspicion, and cautious respect. Lyra stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. "This is Alex, he is my mate. He comes in trust, in honesty, and partnership. Judge him not only for his actions, but for what he represents." One of the council members moved closer, a tall being with skin shifting between silver and blue. "A human," it said, its voice musical but firm. "Lyra has chosen a mate. We observe unusual behavior for your species. Why should you be accepted here?" Alex took a deep breath, meeting their gaze steadily. "I have come to learn," he said. "I have come in honesty to understand your world, your people, and to respect it. I have faced danger with Lyra and survived, not just with skill, but by trusting her, working with her, and respecting the bond she has offered me. That is why I should be accepted, as a partner, as someone who honors trust and courage." The council studied him in silence. Alex felt the pressure, but he held his ground. He had learned that courage and honesty were universal languages, understood even in worlds he could never have imagined. Finally, the council member nodded slowly. "Your words are honest and your actions show courage. You have survived what many of our kind would not, and your bond with Lyra is genuine. We accept your presence, human, and acknowledge the mate bond." A wave of relief passed over Alex. He had feared rejection, feared that the differences between species would be insurmountable, but instead he had earned respect, not through dominance or power, but through honesty, courage, and trust. Lyra stepped closer, her glow warm and comforting. You see, Alex, she said softly, your humanity is not a weakness. It is strength. You honor life, respect trust, and face challenges with courage. That is why mate is possible. Alex smiled, feeling a deep sense of connection, not just with Lyra, but with this world. He realized that humanity's greatest strength was not technology or weapons, but qualities like honesty, adaptability, and empathy. Even among beings as alien as Lyra's people, these traits could earn respect, trust, and partnership. Over the following days, Alex and Lyra explored her world together. He learned about their customs, their knowledge of the forest, and the ways in which their society valued trust and honesty above all else. Lyra's people shared knowledge of energy flows, psychic connections, and ecosystems far more advanced than Earth's. Alex recorded everything, careful to respect their privacy and customs. The bond of mate continued to deepen. Alex could sense Lyra's emotions more clearly, from excitement to curiosity to concern. She, in turn, could anticipate his reactions and thoughts, allowing them to work seamlessly as a team. Together, they solved problems, explored dangerous areas, and even assisted in small community tasks that required both human creativity and alien intuition. One day, as they stood on a cliff overlooking a valley filled with glowing flora and floating crystal formations, Lyra spoke softly. Alex, do you understand now why mate is more than a word? Alex looked at her, considering the events of the past days, the bond, the trust, the challenges they had faced together. Yes, he said. It is trust, respect, and partnership. It is being there for each other even when the world is difficult or dangerous, and it is understanding that courage and honesty can create bonds stronger than fear or doubt. Lyra smiled, her colors shifting to bright green, a sign of approval and warmth. Good, you are learning quickly. Humans may be far from perfect, but you have qualities many species admire. That is why our bond works. That is why we trust you. Alex felt a surge of pride and humility. He realized that the experiences he had thought would be dangerous or uncomfortable had instead shown him the best parts of being human. Curiosity, bravery, and empathy had carried him through challenges, earned respect, and built a connection that transcended worlds. In the evenings, they would sit together by glowing rivers, sharing knowledge and stories. Lyra taught him about her people's history, their struggles and victories, and the ways in which they valued the balance of life. Alex shared human stories too, tales of Earth's diverse cultures, achievements, and lessons learned. The bond of mate made this sharing seamless, allowing them to understand each other beyond words. As days turned into weeks, Alex felt a growing sense of belonging. He was no longer just a visitor or observer. He was part of a world that had once seemed impossible. His presence, his actions, and his bond with Lyra had earned respect and trust, not through force, but through the very qualities that made humans remarkable. Then came a challenge unlike any before. A natural event, a massive storm of glowing energy, swept through the forest, threatening to disrupt the delicate balance of Zithera's ecosystem. Trees shook, rivers glowed brighter than ever, and floating crystal formations spun violently in the air. Alex and Lyra knew they had to act quickly. Together, they coordinated with the community, using a combination of human strategy and alien energy manipulation to stabilize the environment. Alex devised methods to redirect energy flows, create temporary barriers, and protect both the people and the wildlife. Lyra used her psychic abilities to guide the community, synchronize efforts, and anticipate changes in the storm's patterns. Hours passed in tense coordination. The storm raged, but gradually their efforts bore fruit. Rivers calmed, floating crystals stabilized, and the forest's energy returned to a balanced state. When it was over, Alex felt exhaustion wash over him, but also exhilaration. He had faced yet another challenge and contributed meaningfully to a world far beyond Earth. Lyra stood beside him, glowing softly, her eyes reflecting pride and gratitude. You see, Alex, she said, your courage, your mind, your empathy, they are what make you remarkable. Mate is not just about trust between two individuals. It is about standing together, facing challenges, and protecting life. Today you proved that again. Alex smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. I couldn't have done it without you, Lyra, and I understand now. Being mate is about connection, trust, and shared responsibility. It is about being stronger together than we could ever be apart. She reached out, placing her hand on his. Their bond flared gently, a soft glow connecting them. Alex could feel her thoughts and feelings clearly. Gratitude, trust, respect, and something deeper. Something that transcended language. As night fell, they sat together overlooking the glowing forest. The twin moons reflected in the rivers, casting soft light across the land. Alex realized that this world, once alien and incomprehensible, now felt like home, not because he had conquered it, but because he had earned a place in it through honesty, courage, and partnership. Lyra's voice broke the quiet. Alex, mate, the future is vast. There will be more challenges, more lessons, but we will face them together. Your humanity, it has proven its worth, and with it we can accomplish great things. Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. I'm ready, Lyra, for whatever comes next. She smiled, her skin glowing a warm green. Then the universe is ours to explore, together. And so, Alex's journey continued. Not just as a human on a foreign world, but as a mate, a partner, and a representative of humanity's courage, honesty, and ingenuity. Scythera was no longer just a place to study. It was a world where trust and connection could bridge species, where human qualities could shine across the stars, and where a bond built on respect and bravery could survive anything the universe offered. The forest hummed around them, alive with energy, life, and light. And for the first time, Alex knew that being human was not just about survival. It was about connection, courage, and the power to inspire trust, respect, and partnership in even the most alien of worlds. He looked at Lyra, glowing softly beside him, and smiled. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew they would face them together. And in that moment, Alex understood the true meaning of mate. Not just as a word, but as a bond that could shape worlds.